Chapter 1. The Last of His Kind. The world had fallen silent. For months, Earth had been slowly decaying into a shell of what it once was. The human race had vanished, not through war, not through disease, but through something far more insidious, an alien invasion. They came not to conquer, but to absorb. Their superior technology, capable of rendering the human population extinct without a single shot being fired. The alien species known as the Valkari had arrived from the outer reaches of the galaxy, and they had taken what they needed, leaving Earth to its own demise. I had been among the last survivors, a solitary figure wandering the ruins of the once vibrant world. I wasn't sure what had kept me alive. Maybe it was luck, maybe something more, but as far as I knew, I was the only human left on Earth. Every familiar place I passed was now a graveyard of what used to be. The cities, the forests, the parks, all empty. No other living souls. Only the occasional remnants of what the Valkari had left behind. Technology, buildings, and weapons unlike anything humanity had ever seen. For weeks, I had been traveling from city to city, trying to make sense of my existence. I had no purpose now, no direction. It was as if the world had lost all meaning. Chapter 2. The Unexpected Encounter. On the 117th day of solitude, I found myself in what was once a small town nestled in the heart of what used to be North America. I had learned to survive, scavenging, hunting, and relying on my instincts, but I was beginning to lose hope. My only company had been the whispers of the wind through the empty streets, the constant reminder that I was alone. It was in this town, on a rainy night, that everything changed. As I trudged through the streets, tired and worn, I heard something. At first, I thought it was the wind, the howling of a storm, but no, this was different. The sound of footsteps, soft but deliberate, followed by whispers in a language I couldn't understand. I spun around, my heart racing. In the dim glow of a distant streetlight, I saw them, figures emerging from the shadows. They were tall, unlike any humans I had seen before. Their skin was a soft shade of blue, their eyes glowing a vibrant shade of purple. They moved with grace, their limbs long and elegant, their faces both alien and beautiful. The sight of them sent a shiver down my spine. There were 6 of them, and they approached cautiously. Their leader, the tallest of the group, stepped forward. She looked at me, her violet eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that seemed to pierce through my soul. For a moment, neither of us moved. I wasn't sure if I should run or stay, but I knew something. These beings were not here to hurt me. She spoke, her voice soft but commanding. "You are human," she said, her accent strange but familiar. "You are the last." I nodded, barely able to find my voice. "Yes, I am the last one." Her eyes softened, and she gestured for the others to step back. "We are the Renara, a tribe from the planet Urvani, far from here. We have been searching for you." I blinked in disbelief. "Searching for me? Why? Why would anyone want to find me?" The woman stepped closer, her presence overwhelming. "Your people are gone, but we have not come to take your world. We have come to give you a future." Chapter 3. The Gift of the Rynara. The leader of the Renara, whose name I would come to learn was Liara, took me back to their encampment. They had established a small community in the midst of the decaying world, a sanctuary of sorts. The Renara had arrived on Earth only days before the human extinction was complete. They had observed the Valkari's invasion, understanding their own limitations in fighting such a powerful force, and had come to Earth only after confirming that the planet was in need of help. Liara explained that the Renara were a peaceful race, one that valued life above all else. Their species had struggled with their own infertility issues for generations, and when they had learned of humanity's potential for survival, they decided to come to Earth. They had hoped to save the human race, but the Valkari had been far too efficient. Instead, they sought to ensure that the Earth would not be lost forever. They needed me. The Renara have long known of the human potential, Rynara explained one night, as we sat around a campfire, the others watching in quiet reverence. Our species has lost the ability to procreate on our own. But we believe that by joining with you, a new future can be created. I listened in shock as Rynara spoke of their desire for a child born of human and Renara blood, one who could potentially revitalize their race. They had watched the Valkari's invasion, helpless, unable to intervene. But in me, they saw hope, the last human, perhaps the last hope for the future of both races. "You are our last chance," Rynara said, her voice low and filled with a quiet urgency. "Our people need you, just as you need us. Together, we can rebuild." Chapter 4. The Unexpected Connection. Over the next several weeks, I grew closer to the Renara. They were kind, intelligent, and empathetic, and I began to understand their culture more deeply. They did not see themselves as conquerors but as caretakers, seeking to preserve life where others had failed. Despite their advanced technology and beauty, they were not without their own struggles. The more time I spent with Rynara, the more I found myself drawn to her. She was a leader, strong and compassionate, yet there was an air of sadness in her. She carried the weight of her people's future on her shoulders, and I could feel her determination to create a better tomorrow. Our bond grew slowly, and I found myself becoming a part of their family, though I could never fully shake the feeling of being the last human on a dying world. One evening, after we had shared a quiet meal together, Rynara looked at me, her violet eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and hope. "Will you help us?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Will you be the father of the future?" I stared at her, feeling the weight of her words. The world had changed, and with it my purpose. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was part of something greater, something that could bring hope to a dying planet and a broken species. "I will," I said, my voice steady. "I will help you. I will help create a future." Chapter 5. A New Beginning. In the months that followed, I embraced my new role in the Renara tribe. Together, we found a way to build a future. The union between the last human and the Renara resulted in the birth of a new generation, a new race that combined the best of both species. The Earth, once a silent, barren world, began to hum with new life. As I watched the Renara children grow, their bright, violet eyes full of promise, I realized that I had found a new purpose. The loss of humanity was not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter, one where unity, strength, and hope could rebuild what had been lost. Rynara and I stood together on the edge of a cliff, overlooking the reborn world. "The future is ours now," she said, her voice strong. "Together, we will make sure it thrives." And as the sun set on the horizon, I knew that I had found my place, not as the last human, but as the father of a new world.